Shaking everybody. Sitting here at a park across from the Cubby's truck stop. The housekeepers are cleaning my hotel room, which is fine. I'm not complaining about that, but it kind of forces me to leave for a few hours, which is alright. I've been sitting here for about an hour and a half doing homework, reading in my book, about page 450, something like that. So that's not bad. 20 chapters. I got a midterm on Monday. So week 3 recap, the Northeast Community College truck driver training program. I still love it, man. I love it. We've been doing our classroom reviews kind of in the afternoon, going through stuff on the PowerPoints, watching a few videos, learning how to do this or that, which is cool. We started taking the skills test on Friday, which I put in yesterday for me. Pre-trip was easy for me, but there is a video. One of my, I think the last video I put up, I gave the link below for the Nebraska DOT pre-trip video. So that's pretty cool. And your skills test are your backing tests. You have to do one straight line, you have to do one offset, and then you have one specialized back, which is either a blind side parallel, a sight side parallel, or an alley dock. I will do a video detailing those, get the numbers. I got permission from the school, got permission from the instructor, so I'm going to go out there someday over my lunch hour and kind of show you what the course looks like. The course is set up in a very specific way, so one set of cones is the boundary for one exercise, but the beginning of another. I'm not very good at explaining stuff, but that's essentially what it is. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. We got a nice little road up there so we can practice our shifting. We got a serpentine over by the ag complex, which we back through. 4-cone serpentine, cones placed 75 feet apart, I believe. Teach you control of the trailer. Every once in a while I can make it through 4 of them. Always at least 3. That's usually seems to be the same with the rest of the schoolmates. Kid sits next to me, shares a truck with me. That guy has driven truck for a long time. I know I've talked about him in other videos. I shouldn't say driven truck for a long time, but he's rode around with his dad. He's run shag truck. Place where he works is a scrapyard. He backs trucks and trailers in over there. That guy has an insane amount of control over the wheel, over the trailer, I should say. But I did my skills test. I did the first straight line offset perfectly. I had the blind side parallel, and I've been practicing with tighter cones to show off and make me better. Well, that kind of came back to bite me in the butt because I came in too sharp and then just couldn't get it. Which is fine. I'm going to redo it again Monday. Like I said, on Monday we got our midterm. 40 some odd questions, I think he said. 46, something like that. I don't remember. But it's over chapters 1 through 20 in the book, which is about 450 pages. And it's over the CDL manual. Everything, your first three sections. And then your chapter 5, which I believe is air brakes, and chapter 6, which I think is combo vehicles. So, stuff that we should know, but stuff that people still got to study. And they also have common sense problems, logbook problems, things like that in there. So, I don't think that's going to be too bad. I'm going to go in early on Monday, probably 6:30, 7 o'clock. Get used to the tractor. I got a partial load of farm implements that are going to the scrapyard on the back of my flatbed that I'm using for the skills test. So, that makes it a little bit difficult. I shouldn't say it makes it a little bit difficult. It makes the trailer handle different when you've got weight on it versus when it's empty. So, it doesn't necessarily make it more difficult. It just makes it handle differently. So, get used to that. And then mid-morning, after we get done with the final, or the midterm, I should be able to go out and retake my skills test. And there's a few other people that are going to, one other guy's going to retake it, and a couple other people have to take it for the first time. It's just going to be fun. But we got to go out, got to run the old FLD bobtail to help take another Freightliner down to the dealership. It gets up and goes. But it's an older truck. And the instructor, we got a little road that runs right by the school, kind of out of the way, and so we get to get that going towards the ag complex and turn the jakes on. The instructor likes that. We had a rep in yesterday. Now, I shouldn't call him a rep. He's a rookie driver, just getting on his first load. He came in and talked to us about his company, and I think I made him feel pretty bad, and I didn't intend to. It's just questions. If you're going to come in, talk about your company, and brag about it, you ought to be able to. You ought to be prepared to answer difficult questions, comparisons. In the end, we found out why he signed with the company, why he's driving for them, and that's what I wanted to know. But it took a long time to get around to that. But he's a rookie. He's happy where he's at. He's happy with what he's doing. That's all that matters, you know. What's best for him may not be best for me, but you know what? It's best for him. That's what's important. Schoolmates, they're all really cool. I enjoy them. We've been going out to eat quite a bit, which I'm not a big fan of going out to eat. I'm not a big fan of restaurants, but it is really nice to sit down and see and kind of talk to them, figure out their personal lives. You know, you're only going to spend 6 weeks with these people. Yeah, you got their number. Yeah, you got them on Facebook, but you know what? You got 6 weeks to know who these people really are, where they come from, what their past is like, what their interests are. So it's fun. I enjoy it. Yeah, we went through this week. We did bridge formula, which is figuring out your legal weights on your axles, how to adjust the weights, what you would do to adjust them. And, you know, when you do all your adjustments, when you got to call your dispatcher and say, hey man, they overloaded me, they got to readjust this, or they got to take some off. We learned about hours of service, which we already really knew about, but it's how to make sure that you stay within your legal limits, and learn about the old 34-hour reset law, the one that's in effect now until they figure out what they're going to do, if they're going to go back to the old one, keep this one, or go to something totally different. So, there's a lot of fun stuff. We talked about safety issues. Read an article this week about some guy that had a couple of guys come up to him, pull a gun on him, want his wallet, he gave him the wallet, and they shot him twice. The guy ended up surviving, but it raised a nice question. You know, if you were pulled off on an alley, or not an alley, if you're on a highway, you had trouble saying like a suspension issue or a tire problem, you pull off the side of the road to check it in the middle of the night, and this car rolls up to you, what are you going to do? Makes you think. That's about all it can do, is make you think, because you don't know. Until you're put in that situation, you don't know what you're going to do. It's easy for you to say, man, I'm going to swing at that guy, or I'm going to hit him with my thumper or my hammer, or guy's pointing a gun at you, what are you going to do, you know? A few other things, people jumping on your truck, you know, trying to get in, trying to sell you stuff, other things like that. You know, how are you going to prepare yourself? So, it has been a blast, though. Northeast Community College truck driving program, I love it every step of the way. My instructor, Ed Lewis, is an awesome guy. Not just as an instructor, but as a person in general. If you could see the amount of hours this guy puts in and day out, and to still come up and be kind, to be helpful, to have a smile on his face, to be happy with what he does, it's insane. There's a guy in my class, goes to school from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Has to be at work at 6. Works from 6 until 4 in the morning. Goes home. Wakes up at 7 to get his boy ready for school. Takes him to school, then he goes to school. Never in a bad mood. I can't believe it. And it really makes you stop and think, you know, what is going to happen. Sorry, I got somebody pulling up next to me. Roll my window up so they can't spy on me. Anyway, yeah, it makes you stop and think with some of these people. You may think your life is rough. You may think, oh my goodness, man, I gotta sit there and do homework all night long and shower and go to bed. I got no life. Sorry. You know, when you look at these guys and you're thinking, you know, these guys can put a smile on their face. They don't complain. They don't do anything. They're living on maybe 2 hours of sleep. Wow. Just wow. And you look at the instructor the same way, you know, the amount of sleep he gets sometimes and still have a passion for what he does. It's crazy. And for him to answer real questions, not just try to get you your CDL and kick you to the curb, but to make sure you understand real life. To understand that when you get out of school, you do not know it all. You're going to have to go with a trainer. You're going to have to learn the real life problems. You're going to have to learn the safe places to park, what you can and can't do, things that are going to make you safe, unsafe. Backing into a cone is one thing. Well, how about backing into these docks? Backing into a bay door, okay, that's one thing. Backing into the tight bay doors when you're backing into steel places. Okay, you're going to go secure a load of billets. You're going to secure a short load of steel. That's fine. Throw a tarp over it. That's cool. What are you going to do when you got to tarp a big load of lumber in the wind? What are you going to do when you got to secure a big load of slinkies, steel coils? Really lets you know that you don't know it all. And when he sees bad things that happen, he brings it up on the computer and he shows you. They got big traffic pileups. They got bad weather conditions. He pulls it up. He shows you what happens. He shows you what he would have done to avoid it. And will also make a point to say that you're not always going to be able to get out of these situations. It's easy to stand back and say, hey man, this guy screwed up. But that can happen to you. That can happen to me. That can happen to him. It can happen to anybody. And it's wonderful to see an instructor do that. Instead of trying to make it seem like it's all unicorns and rainbows out there, he's letting you know the real reality of the situations. So you can sit there and bring up all these pictures and all these deals, and you can sit there and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. But what if the shoe's on the other foot? You can be the most professional driver you can imagine, and these things can happen. Really makes you think. When I get a load on that flatbed and I'm going around driving through town, he makes sure to tell me that I got to keep my eye on my mirror to make sure nothing's coming loose. When I had the tarp on the back of it, same thing. And that was awesome. That was awesome because that's what I'm going to have to do. That's what you're going to have to do. Instead of getting complacent, just driving from point A to point B, your responsibilities go far beyond that. It isn't just driving. You're responsible for everything on that rig and inside that rig. And he makes sure you know that. Northeast Community College, truck driving program, I made the best decision in my opinion. I know some of you did watch this, you're not going to be in the right state, you're not in the right area. Well, but it's wonderful to look at this and see. There's other schools out there like this. There may be other schools out there that are a lot better than this. I know there are schools out there, especially in the state, that are worse. But it's not about what I think. It's not about what they think. It's about what's going to work best for you. I can tell you anything I want. My experience will vary from the guy next to me. His will vary from yours. Yours will vary from that person over there. It's all about what's going to work best for you. Research, 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 question, question, question. I'm just giving you my experience, and that's all it can be. That's all can be said about this. It's my experience. Anyway, guys, I'm going to enjoy my coffee. Chat y'all later.